Hi everyone, my name is Barry Gruber. This is actually my first video doing from my own channel on YouTube. I'll be talking about various topics, but basically I have a new book called Dodging with the Devil. And in this book, I'm looking at 6,000 years of Jewish history. And I'm trying to extract what happened then and what's happening today and how to move forward. So I just have a new book called Dodging with the Devil. I just finished it about a month ago, and I have a website here where I want to make known to the public what I believe is happening today. So I'm going to give a series of lectures pertaining to the daily or weekly portion on the 5 books of Moses called the Torah, because each week we're counting to Rosh Hashanah. And on Rosh Hashanah, the whole world is judged, not just the Jewish people. So the name, Dodging with the Devil, what does that mean? The devil has different connotations regarding the texts, depending which text you use. But my text is basically from the oral tradition at Mount Sinai. There were 2 traditions given at Mount Sinai. One was a written, one was an oral. So this tradition was supposed to be passed down orally, through mouth to mouth, But what happened was, when the temples were destroyed, one 2,500 years ago approximately, the other one 2,000 years ago approximately, the rabbis decided to write it down in this book called the Talmud. Now we have the 5 books of Moses, which is written in something very kind of like not clear, because there's a lot of openings. See, Torah is dynamic, and it works on many different levels. So if we really want to understand what they're talking about, if anybody picks up the 5 books of Moses, for example, which is the Torah, and they just read it without the commentary, they're really not getting the Torah, because Torah is emes. Emes is truth. This book is about the truth of what happened at Sinai, how to fix it, and what does it mean for the Jewish people today? Today, 50% of the Jews are living, close to 50% are living in the land of Israel. I came from the United States about 10 years ago to come and live here, not have ever been here. As a college student, I stayed for a few years, then I went back. But what I want to show the people here is that there was a strong connection to the Jewish people, that even though you're born a Jew and you're not really involved with practicing, maybe have never even gone into a synagogue or anything like that, there's the potential to learn from this book to prepare the Jewish person and the Gentile nations for the next redemption. Of course, the Jews were redeemed from Egypt with all these miracles and going through the desert, and they came out by the desert, not to learn to receive the Torah. And this Torah was the values of the next generation. So what we're doing here now is I'm trying to reignite the collective Jewish soul, because in the tradition all Jews are connected, whether they're religious or not. Most Jews get a circumcision, as it's written in the Torah, 8 days old. But many Jews really don't know much about it. So I want to prepare not only the Jewish people, but all the nations, because 70 nations, they say, came out of the land of Canaan, which was later, when the Jews came into Canaan, their purpose was to destroy the idol worshippers and bring this concept of Abraham, of one God. So now After everything that the Jewish people have been through, this small introduction is just basically telling you we're still around. Over 100 countries persecuted Jews. I'm not here to talk about persecution. I'm here about bringing the light back to the Jewish people, bringing the light to the nations as we were supposed to be. The problem is when the Jews don't act within what they're supposed to kind of hopefully understand as a result of the Sinai experience, this gives power to the other nations. But in reality, we're all one. We're one nation as a Jewish nation, and we're connected globally through all the 70 nations, because before the Torah was given, 70 people came out of the land of Israel, prior called the land of Canaan, they called it in English. So now there's a promise to the Jewish people who kept that oral tradition even before it was given at Sinai, between Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, in Hebrew, Avram, Isaac, and Yaakov. This promise, because of their merit and what they did to succeed in bringing this light of the Torah to the world, a sense of borderline mentality that says, you stay within the boundaries, you get blessings. You go out of the boundaries, it's like a guide to keep everybody straight. And the Jews, a lot of these blessings are connected with the land. Even a Jew born outside the land of Israel, they don't even have any real connection to the land. But the 613 commandments that come from the 10 commandments themselves revolve the land. The Torah, the people, and the land are holy. This is what the book is about. Bringing back holiness to the world. Bringing back the value of sanctity, of purity. So in this week's Parsha, which is the Torah portion, there is a very interesting story about how we use our speech. Because there's a story where Bilam and Balak. Bilam was a prophet, and he was a prophet for the other nations, not from the Jewish persuasion. A lot like Abraham, Isaac, they came from the Jewish end. But God, in his mercy, wanted to give Bilam a chance to get the other 70 nations. So he said, so Balak, after the Jews crossed the desert and the sea split for them, and they were coming through Jordan, Midian, and they were terrified because they saw all the miracles that happened to the Jews in Egypt, and now they have to answer to that. So what happens? He says to Balak says to Bilam, I need you to curse the Jewish people. Yes, it happens a lot. What does Bilam, the non-Jewish prophet, say? Whoever the Jewish people are blessed, I can't curse them. So Balak took all these neighboring tribesmen, leaders of other peoples, came with him, a whole entourage, and they say, please, you must do it. We have to do it. And then they gave them money, all these goods, all these wealth. So all of a sudden he changed his mind. He's going on his donkey, his she donkey, and all of a sudden, the tradition says he smacks her against the wall. He takes out his rod and he starts beating the donkey. So the donkey turns around, opens his mouth and says, why are you beating me? In his language that he understands. In other words, the donkey speaks. And he's talking to the donkey like, what's wrong with you? And the donkey says, look over there. And there was an image of an angel with a sword blocking the donkey's way. So Bilam said, forgive me. I didn't see you. So this is a very interesting story because it's a story about man and animals. What do animals see? What do men see? Sometimes animals see more than men. But from the Torah perspective, men have a mouth. In this case, the miracle of the mouth came through the donkey. And because of the donkey spoke up, most animals can't speak up. That's why we have to learn how to be nice to animals, because we're above. We have the power of speech. We have the power to give. Some animals kill for their food. They kill for their food because that's how they get their food. But we humans have to elevate our souls above the animal soul. That's the whole purpose of the Torah, to sanctify your actions through doing the good deeds, which is called mitzvot, and learning the Torah. So this is just an introduction to the book. If you want to buy it, you could get it on Amazon. It's the first of, I'm going to give at least once a week, the Torah portion for each week, as we come closer and closer to the New Year's, in which all the nations are judged. So this little speech is for everyone. It's for everyone to prepare themselves, because I set the book up in 10 separate chapters. Each chapter goes into the wisdom of the Jewish people and the trials and tribulations of the main characters and all types of characters, and how they overcome their obstacles and how they bring a sense of purpose other than themselves. Because the ultimate purpose of learning Torah is to be humble. And we say that Moshe Rabbeinu, Moses, our greatest teacher, was the humblest of all people. But wait a minute, we have a contradiction in this world. We're supposed to be ambitious, assertive, get what you want at all costs. The Torah says no. You can achieve the same results by just being and acting in a certain way. And that's what we Jews are chosen to do. Not everybody acts that way. There are righteous Gentiles, there are righteous Jews. But that's our purpose. And the only way you get there is through learning and re-identifying with your roots and your past. So for all my Jewish friends out there that are listening, take a listen, prepare yourself. It's only in less than 100 days, Rosh Hashanah, I think. And if you hear 10 lectures leading up to it, it will prepare you for what to expect. The book starts off like a baseball game. I compare it to a baseball game, which is interesting because there are 4 letters to God's name, and there are 4 bases, and we have to go around the bases. And there's ways to get around the bases. But the bottom is, I give a hypothetical situation. At Rosh Hashanah, we're judged, and the judgment is life or death for the whole year, not only for Jews, for Gentiles, for all nations. So it's something to be concerned about. We've been living in the time of the mask. The mask is God's little way of saying, hey, you're all getting it wrong. I gave you a mouth to speak, to speak kindly to one another, to act nicely to one another, not to divide each other. And I speak about all this stuff in my book. Even among Jews, forget about Gentiles.
Moses was challenged by this great Talmudic scholar Korach. And you have to know the difference between truth and false in a person's argument to find out what's happening. And that's what this book is about. It's about getting to the truth of the matter. And I guarantee you, any one of you, you have to read this whole book. Once you complete this whole book, to the last page, it's 233 pages, you will never see a Jew the same. And you will never see the nations the same. And you begin to see aspects of truth that you would never have even thought of in your life. And maybe, just maybe, it will lead us to greater peace in the world. So until next time, have a good Shabbos.